Nice face, Feinberg. Nice face. Yeah, that's it. Minute. Can you duck a little bit? I want to get his face in the window. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. That's the guy who we rely on to do our camera work. That ape.
I'm David Feinberg, and VBS sent me to China with a camera to film the dirtiest place on the planet. It is the city of Linfen. And spending about a day here breathing in the air is about the same as smoking 3 packs of cigarettes. The scary part is that there's a lot of cities in China like this. 16 of the world's 20 most polluted cities are in China. And my bosses convinced me to come here and spend a week filming and breathing in all this crap, so they didn't have to.
I fell in love with a little Indian girl, and she stole my heart away. She took me to a highway out on the plains and runs the bed. Then she brought the rain. And I listened to the stories all through the night, through the haze of that peace pipe. The night grew long, so I
Linfen produces what any nation of over 1 billion people need, a ton of energy. It's an endless landscape of factories, all spewing a bunch of toxic chemicals into the air and poisoning the land and the water. There's no clouds, just a permanent toxic smog hovering over the city. Linfen is located in the heart of Shanxi province. Every day, thousands of coal trucks go between Linfen and the rest of China's cities. Then they come back empty for more.
因为中国的能源消耗以煤为主，山西啊，在这个中国是一个煤炭开采规模最大，但是因为煤的这个洁净利用问题啊，是一个世界性的难题。这个呢，这几年这个临汾一直在排在这个全球污染的严重污染城市这个排行榜上，就是说是一个能源的煤炭的生产大省，也是一个煤炭的消耗大省。但是在这个开发利用过程中呢，因为那个因为人们的一个发展的理念，这是一个问题。再一个呢，就是人们单纯追求这个经济的高速增长的这么一个观念，所以说导致了这个煤炭开发过程中造成的这个环境问题非常严重。
China suffers from both local problems and global environmental challenges. So the combined impacts of climate change and local pollutions are causing enormous consequences. A lot of the environmental problems in China are very closely linked to our energy consumption. Because there's something fundamentally wrong with the economic model, that's why the more the economy grows, the more the environment start to get worse. Linfen really shows the other side of Chinese economic development, which is actually the ugly side of it. And this is about how unbalanced the Chinese development has been.
The sky in Linfen was taken from a sci-fi movie, but life there seems relatively normal. There's 4 million people, and like any other town in China, its roads are clogged with cars and trucks, and there's a lot of construction. Linfen has had a bit of a PR problem ever since the World Bank called it the most polluted place on Earth. Even the Chinese media has reported on the disaster, admitting that people have been moving away because of the pollution. I didn't see anyone leaving town except all the coal trucks. They're actually a big source of pollution themselves and are everywhere. Linfen has no tourism, and I think we were the only foreigners in the entire city. Everywhere we went, we really stuck out.
Hello.
你好。When we pulled up to this elementary school, some kids were leaving for the day, and it looked like there was a huge fire burning down the neighborhood. The kids weren't too worried, and I realized that this is probably what they see every time they leave school or go outside to play.
Just take the example of air pollution. 70% of Chinese cities cannot meet their air quality standards. The burning of coal is the main cause of air pollution in China. But of course, the increasing transport and also the constructions going on everywhere in China are also reasons for air pollution.
诊所是个私人诊所。 生到这儿，长到这儿，周围我吧，主要是还是为这个周围的，这多少年了嘛，就是为周围群众服务的。一般的农村呢，它这个常见病、多发病，比较多。再一个有你像这高血压、冠心病、肺心病的抢救啊这些。胃癌、肺癌，你像这都是比较多。 就是这个不戴，一般的人不习惯戴口罩，自己没有什么防尘设备，没有什么都没有。戴口罩，这里人一般都不习惯，那就预防不了，就没办法，都要呼吸空气嘛，没办法。就是工业排出来的这个气味能够老百姓能够闻见的这个二氧化硫的这个特别刺鼻的这个味道。
因为临汾这是一个盆地。 从盆地这个角度来说呢，它的这个大气的扩散条件不是很好，这样的话使得这个污染物啊，大气污染物不易扩散，使得它的这个污染的程度非常严重。
这个呢，它空气污染太厉害，你像是生病来了以后，绝对是很痛苦的。有把退休的，他呢不是有这个气管不好。 时间长了以后，就是肺心病了。你像跟我岁数一般大的，你像这些差不多的，你像好多少呢？他有些个不是就是由于气管感染，他这个干活啥，这个重体力活有时候就干不了了。
过不得40-50年了，就在这个家里，啊，是在这个家里，连上气都不上气。
连那风气都起了，不上气，那寒的哪儿不去？
是支气管炎，就是支气管炎。一炖的就冬天就热，最厉害。夏天攀呢，还比这屋里还空气好一些。在家里是聚的厉害，在房子里是聚的。
When I found out I was going to Linfen, I found some painter's masks under the sink in our office. My mom also told me I should wear a mask at all times, and I saw a lot of photos of people on the streets of Chinese cities wearing masks. When we got to Linfen, we were surprised to find out that nobody wore masks. I didn't want to stick out anymore, so we left the masks behind. However, I still took a photo wearing a mask just to show my mom when I got home.
Back from the waters of the Yellow Sea, far inland from the eastern plains, for unnumbered generations, farmers have plowed the fertile soil. After the harvest, the plow, and after the plow, the planting. This has been the cycle, endlessly repeated. Through the ages, waters from the mountains have been fed to the fields of the valley for crops that have never failed. One day, the farmer looked up from his work in age-old fields and saw a strange new carriage. The engineers of a far-off land devised new uses for flowing streams, producing a strange new power. To the valley came electricity that bring to valley homes the signs of a changing world.
It was only 20 years ago that Linfen was nicknamed the fruit and flower town of Shanxi province. Since then, it's basically been turned into China's coal mine. It's even more remarkable to think that this has all happened in the span of my lifetime.
虽然这个城市规模不大，建成区的面积，因为当时它是一个农业为主的地区。因为开采过程中的对环境的破坏呢，实际上，主要是对生态的破坏，就是对土壤和水，植被这个破坏要比较大。但是这个过程中的这个洗煤废水的处理呢，也是一个非常难的问题。
以前水挺大的，现在是从上面下雨的了。
你觉得这水质怎么样啊？
不知道。以前不是，以前挺清的，以前还有这个。
In China, over half of all the rivers are polluted. 1/3 of the lakes are polluted, and over 80% or 90% of the urban groundwater are polluted. So this is about how serious the water pollution is in China. Those pollutions mainly come from industry processes. It's about factories who do not clean up their pollutants before they release those things into the river. And also another main contributor is the pollutants from the pesticides used in the agriculture process. Most of those cancer villages are actually caused by water pollution, and because the people in those villages depend on this river for their water sources. That's why you see a very higher percentage of cancer patients in those villages.
All of the food I had in Linfen was actually quite good. It may have been full of cancerous toxins, but at least I could tell it was grown in the ground as opposed to in some laboratory. I have a feeling a lot of the stuff I eat back home may be just as bad for me.
我小的时候，整个这个村子是相当好，因为啥比较好呢？这个我的村子呢有泉水，有3个泉的话，它不是有泉的，你像里边鱼虾什么都有。而且呢，你像老百姓浇地呢，人家在浇地呢，所以说现在这个泉呢全部干掉了，今年就全部没有了。因为啥呢？它是肠子太多，地下水源呢，它提取的太厉害了。前几年呢，有一次，就是在这儿一走以后，它就是污染的，那整个这两边的路两边的麦子，到时候它是检查特别厉害。分类起来以后，就那。 刚让麦子养花的时候嘛，那就影响了，最少减产1/3，就是没有颗粒了。农民呢倒是也不少，因为他走不了嘛。